President Barack Obama, the guest of honor at the Palace of the Revolution in Havana. At a state dinner, 88 years in the making. After meeting earlier Monday, Presidents Obama and Raul Castro jointly talked to the press, something Castro doesn't do often. While the visit may mark a new phase, the deep divisions between both countries were evident.
I've said consistently, after more than 5 very difficult decades, the relationship between our governments will not be transformed overnight. We continue, as President Castro indicated, to have some very serious differences, including on democracy and human rights.
Castro once more asked for Guantanamo to be returned to Cuba and for the U.S. embargo to be ended, request not likely to happen with a Republican-controlled Congress.
Much more could be done if the U.S. blockade was lifted. We recognize the position of President Obama and his administration against the blockade and his repeated appeals to Congress to have it removed. The recent measures taken by his government are positive, but are not sufficient.
President Obama says he spoke to Castro about the human rights conditions on the island.
I made it clear that the United States will continue to speak up on behalf of democracy, including the right of the Cuban people to decide their own future. We'll speak out on behalf of universal human rights, including freedom of speech and assembly and religion. Indeed, I look forward to meeting with and hearing from Cuban civil society leaders tomorrow.
According to dissidents on the island, the tensions have increased in the last year. A U.S. journalist asked Castro about political prisoners in Cuba.
Give me a list of the political prisoners, and I will release them immediately. Just mention a list. What political prisoners? Give me a name or the names. Or when the news conference ends, you can give me a list of the prisoners. If we have those political prisoners, before nightfall, they will be released.
In his first full day in Havana, Obama also spoke to Cuban entrepreneurs in a local Havana brewery.
Very nice to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
On Tuesday, one of the most contentious parts of the visit will take place when Obama meets with Cuban dissidents. Alberto Pimienta for VOA News, Washington.